Today, I'm joined by Nicole DiCristofaro, an energy medicine practitioner and spiritual counselor. Let me briefly introduce her before I bring her on. Nicole DiCristofaro helps spiritually curious women tap into their spiritual superpowers using energy medicine and Western shamanism so that they feel more connected, centered, and confident every day. Nicole is trained in the art and science of energy medicine with a master's certification in intuition medicine. Her new approach to intuition development and self-healing combines ancient wisdom and modern science, the intuition mastery method. So welcome, Nicole. So good to have you here with us today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So I did a little brief intro about you, about your work. So can you tell us a little bit more about your work and how you got interested in energy medicine?
Of course, yes. I'll make this brief because it can be a long story. I had a mother who was diagnosed with cancer, and I really dove in to all things alternative holistic healing. And I started to dabble in the healing arts and also nutrition and health and wellness. So that was kind of what started it. And my mother did pass from cancer in 2008, but I really feel that it was a gift that I had that experience and that opportunity, because it did lead me on my path to where I am now as an intuition medicine practitioner, which is an energy medicine practitioner. It's a specialized certification. And I've always been very passionate, though, about what can I do to have optimal health and how can we practice self-healing.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear about your mom, but that's really an interesting path to getting into energy medicine. So I myself am new to energy medicine. This isn't something that I feel like a lot of my patients don't know about energy medicine either, although I try to educate them in my courses and in my sessions. But like I said, I'm new and I'm dabbling in it and I don't have a lot of information. So can you explain to us what energy medicine is and why it's called energy medicine?
Sure. So energy medicine is an umbrella term, and it can include practices like acupuncture, Reiki, different healing modalities. I was trained in intuition medicine. So we study the science of energy, and it's using Western shamanism and spiritual methodology of treating disease and promoting health and healing, combining the Western scientific insights. So we are looking at the science and the energetic nature of atoms and molecules making up the body, just incorporated, though, with ancient observations of the body's unique life energy systems that are the critical aspects of healthy human functioning. There's a lot to, explaining energy medicine. But if you look at practices in traditional Chinese medicine, they talk about qi, and I call it your life force energy. So when we all are made of energy, right? We're frozen light. And when we have ailments and illnesses, there can be a energetic or spiritual causation of that illness or ailment. So energy medicine looks to treat the cause and not just necessarily the symptoms.
Wow, that's interesting. I like that, frozen light. And a lot of people have used acupuncture. They've used Chinese medicine. I myself am new to Qigong. I love that. And
I love that.
even yoga is considered part of the whole balancing our energies, right?
Yes.
So since energy medicine as a word is pretty new, the other concepts have been around. Some of them would say 5,000 years with the Chinese medicine, right?
Yes.
So how can we use in the Western model, how can we use energy medicine, since this is a mental health podcast, how can we use energy medicine to balance ourselves out mentally and physically?
Great question. So a lot of what has been researched in what are the causations of mental illness. A lot of times there's a disconnect from our human and our spiritual self. And that can happen for many reasons, but most likely it's some sort of trauma that has happened in either in early childhood. It even can be pre your current life. It could be something from a past life. It's very nuanced. However, there's usually some kind of disassociation, disconnection. And when your spiritual energy isn't fully embodied, it can cause your human self to go into anxiety, depression, have all of those experiences associated with mental illness. My husband has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, for example, and he always believed this was something he inherited from his mother, who was undiagnosed, but he now, can see the similarities. And, we had lengthy talks about it. And I do feel that because his life had so much trauma, especially as an early young man, I mean, he walked in on his mother wanting to commit suicide, like attempting to commit suicide. And he's okay with me sharing this, by the way. He's a mental health advocate as well. So he talks about this, but that's a lot for an 8-year-old. And it can really impact your emotional, physical, spiritual self. And I feel that that's a big causation. There could be so many others, but a big part is this disconnection from who you are as a spirit, that higher self.
Now, in Western culture, we focus mostly on the body. We don't especially the medicine part of it doesn't really incorporate, even in psychology, doesn't really incorporate the spiritual aspect of it. But I love the saying that we are spiritual beings having a human experience instead of being humans having a spiritual experience, or we are a soul having a body instead of a body having a soul. When we look at it that way, we see the cosmos connection, I guess, the global connection to all of us, that we're all connected via energy. We're all energetic beings. And that in terms of psychology, when we undergo trauma, there are parts of us that shut down. And in the Eastern philosophy, that's the chi that doesn't get, that's not flowing, right? There's a blockage. Yes. Where acupuncture points open those up. And I know that, I use a lot of tapping, emotional freedom technique to kind of unblock those points. There's EMDR, the eye movement reprocessing techniques. So what are some techniques that really work for, in terms of what you're doing? You said you were a spiritual intuition specialist, right?
Intuition medicine.
Intuition medicine, right?
Yes. So one of the biggest things that I feel is so profound and so amazing is really learning how to ground yourself in your body, like a spiritual being grounded in the human form, because that creates that sense of safety. I'm okay. Whatever happens, we got this. It provides that source of support that I think a lot of people, life is scary. Life has a lot of things that happen and challenges. So the first thing is I always look at and scan somebody's grounding and see if they're even if they're like not even fully in their body, are they attempting to get grounded? And this is a visualization process. You don't have to go outside and be barefoot or hug a tree to do this. It was taught to me through visualization, because energy follows your thoughts and intentions. So I like to help reconnect the spirit and the body, and then practice getting grounded and feeling safe here in physical form. Because we like to, I think one of the misconceptions I had was that our spiritual selves were these like God-like energies that were perfect, but they have their own transformation and growth, and they go through, that's why they're here, right? To learn, to grow, to evolve. So we also have to protect, keep our spirit safe in this body. And if there's a lot of trauma happening around us, or things don't feel safe, guess that's going to be very challenging. So that's my first thing, is to really work on grounding. And there actually is a lot of science about the healing of grounding. I don't know if you've heard of the book Earthing. They also made a movie called Earthing, the movie. And there's a lot of healing that they've researched, documented, that when we actually connect with the Earth's electromagnetic frequency, even if we're just doing it through like closing our eyes and imagining it, it can be a healing process in our body, and it helps us be connected.
That's so fascinating. I'm actually reading the book Earthing right now.
Fabulous.
And just recently got introduced to it because it's a confusing term for me. For a long time, getting grounded was for anxiety, where you're breathing and getting back into your body. And then now hearing this other term of actually being barefoot outside, or even getting the energy from a tree, or from being outside and seeing the blue light and seeing the green, and that has an impact on our body and our emotions, but also absorbing, like you said, the earth's energy really helps us diffuse all the positive ions that we're collecting throughout the day from all the electronics in our room and our offices. We need to find a way to discharge that, whether that's through shaking or through qigong or through tapping or through being barefoot. So that's a whole nother world that's just recently opened up to me. And that's why I found your bio and your work so interesting, and how we can use that. So you did bring up that the earthing, that we do need to be barefoot, and we're one of the whole basis of the book Earthing, or his research, is that because of the rubber shoes that we're wearing, or the plastic soles that we have, and then we drive in our cars, we live in our high-rise apartments, we work in buildings that are above ground, we are disconnected from the ground, right? And that's going to cause inflammation, mental illness. So what are your experiences, and what have you noticed in terms of all that? Because we are having major issues right now, health-wise.
Yes.
What are some things that people can do, just small little steps that they can change in their lives, so that they can be more connected and more grounded in their lives?
Sure. Thank you. That's a great question. And yes, that's why I love teaching or sharing about grounding, because it is so impactful to your overall well-being. So I live in a high-rise building, and I am not, near the ground. And I can close my eyes, though, and imagine a place in nature where I feel very connected and where it feels very soothing and safe. And I imagine that I'm there. And what I do is I let my body kind of meld into the gravitational pull of the earth. I just imagine that there's this, we don't notice gravity, but it's happening all the time. But even just connecting with a gravity grounding is super healing, and it's very easy. And that's where you can just sit or lay down and just imagine how it feels to be pulled in to the earth's electromagnetic field, to be pulled in and almost like cradled, like held in Mother Earth's arms. That's a visual I like to share, because it feels so good to imagine that. Now, another practice is simple: to go outside, get barefoot, be mindful though, and just imagine, feel all the senses, breathe in the smells. Your feet have feet chakras underneath them, and you can even intentionally say, I'm opening my feet chakras wide, and I would like to receive the earth's healing energy. And even with just saying that, your feet will start pulsing, maybe tingling. You may feel warm. You'll feel vibration, because you are creating that intention, and it's happening. And there is this frequency. It's about 7.5 hertz of a pulse, a frequency, a vibration. And that's another wonderful, quick way to just kind of reset and get centered again.
Well, there's a reason we have all of our nerve endings in the bottom of our feet, right? And a lot of meditation, guided meditation, starts with sit in a chair and put both feet on the ground.
Exactly. And that helps that flow of energy. I don't practice, teach or teach doing like a lotus position, because that does block the flow of energy. So yeah, feet flat on the floor, and even just intentionally calling up, drawing up that earth energy into your feet.
Yeah. So I know that with the earthing book, one of the ways that the guy that wrote it, I forget his name now, but one of the ways that he discovered earthing, that as he coined the term, is using electrodes and mats to kind of really ground himself. Have you tried any of any of the mats or any of the strategies that he recommends as far as really getting grounded? I know that in my infrared sauna, I have a little foot mat that is supposed to help with the grounding. Have you tried any of those things?
So I haven't purchased any of them. However, I do have a client that did purchase a mat because she is a healing touch practitioner, and she wanted it for herself and then also offer it. And she said that she had been in a car accident and she was still having a lot of pain on the side of her body, and using that grounding mat, like she could put it on. There's different varieties, but she put one on her bed. And she said after a few days, the pain greatly diminished. So I definitely feel there's some truth to it. Since I use my own methodology of grounding, I haven't bought a mat, but I'm not opposed to it. I think that can help people.
I'm in the part of the book where he's actually running the studies, and he put those electrodes on people's arms, and their rheumatoid arthritis pain went down, their back pain went down. So the fact that he started finding out making the connection with localized pain reduction with these mats. I haven't explored that yet. Like I said, I just picked up the book and I'm just reading about it, but I'm the kind of person that absolutely hates walking barefoot unless I'm on sand.
Same here.
But lately I've been trying to be more barefoot. So it's different. It's uncomfortable if you're not used to it, right?
I know. I don't mind walking barefoot on sand, but anything else I hate. Even in my own house, I don't like to be barefoot. So I share that thing with you. But yeah, that's why I love that I don't have to do that as my way to ground. I have other tools in my toolbox and I can get the same result. However, if I had a chronic condition, I would look into those mats as just something to supplement my own healing practice, because I feel they're very effective.
Well, they have them so many different kinds. You can put them underneath your feet when you're working at your desk at work. You can have them on your chair so that you can get the benefit. It is because we are disconnected. If we really think about it, like I live in Arizona, there's no beach here for me to walk on. So I do have to find ways to be in the ground as much as possible. But then also, like I said, if you're living in a high rise and you get into your car and then you go into another high rise for work, during the week, maybe months before you actually really touch the ground and actually absorb the earth's energy. So for people like that, a mat could be very beneficial. But guided meditation, what you're talking about, or grounding meditation can also really help bring the same benefits. Because I say like 20 minutes a day.
Yes, really as little as 10. I also wanted to add that to take it to the next level in your grounding, a lot of people don't teach this. So we have our root chakra, our base chakra, which is our grounding chakra. And I anchor my root chakra into the earth. I imagine this happening, and in different days, I need different connections, but I go into that source of earth energy in the center of the earth. So my feet are rooted, my root chakra is rooted. And usually that is very profound and helps me with like emotional energy, anxiety, overwhelm. Also the clearing that can happen with earth energy. You can direct that flow of healing energy to different parts of your body and help draw out. I think of it as like a bentonite clay. You know, people drink that, right, to help remove some of the things going on in their gut. I've done that before. And I think of earth energy doing the same. So sometimes my meditation is like I'm taking a mud bath and I'm just drawing out all the impurities.
Well, we don't really think about all that our body goes through. Like I remember the first time I did a progressive muscle relaxation meditation, I didn't realize how tense my shoulders would get. Like, this is where I hold my stress.
Yeah.
And until you do the relaxation, you're not going to know what your body's supposed to feel like when it's relaxed.
So true.
And a lot of people don't understand, like chakras, there's a religious connotation to it. But when you take the religion out of it and just focus on energy and balancing our energy, we always talk about, oh, I have no energy, or I'm so out of
Right.
energy, or I'm so depleted today. We use that language without really connecting it to energy medicine, right?
That's very, very true. I know, I tend to think, what do we think this energy comes from? What is it made of? If you don't really understand, then do you think that you're given a certain cup each day and that's it? That's all you get? But yeah, it can be regenerated.
Well, for a lot of people, that cup is a cup of coffee.
Yes. Yes. Or Red Bull or whatever else
Right.
they're doing.
And they feel like they can't function unless they take their cup of energy every morning. But really, it can be cultivated. We can actually make our own energy. And
Yes.
it's about grounding ourselves. And that's what interested me about Qigong, is that there were stories about these warriors and these old women practicing enough Qigong to generate enough energy to fight people off, to be basically indestructible almost. I know we're not taught that kind of Qigong, but it has that potential, because if you're practicing something every single day, you are cultivating and you're bringing in that energy. So, but have you noticed, I'm speaking of Qigong, I know when I learned about it, I became really obsessive and I started doing a lot of research, and they have videos on YouTube on how energy medicine like Reiki and Qigong have been used to shrink tumors, to create health. And I know, even if you've never done Qigong, I'm sure you've been to a Chinatown somewhere to see people practicing Tai Chi and Qigong in the park early in the morning. So can you talk about how all of this can be used for physical health? Have you had any research or personal experience with using energy medicine to create health?
Yes. So in my training, there was a lot of research. Like I felt I was definitely studying for several years and like going through research papers and scientific studies, which I really appreciate because I'm a nerd like that. I believe in the spiritual part, but I also want to see data and research, and that's totally fine. And there was this fascinating video, and I think it was actually in China. And it goes back some time. I think it's pretty old by now. It might have been in the 70s or 80s, but there was a group of people, and they were recording this primarily purposefully to show that they were with the intention of healing, that this person's tumor was shrinking. And they recorded like the scan of like there was somebody doing an ultrasound, and they were kind of just all speaking in Chinese, and I forget the exact phrase, but it was almost like an intention, a healing intention. And that tumor eventually, it was diminished. And I don't remember how many hours or how long that took offhand, but that when I saw that, I was like, see, I just really feel that we have such power in our intentions, and directing energy, whether it's if you're accessing, universal energy or other healing frequencies, which I was trained to do, is be a conduit. I'm not doing the healing. I'm working with the person spirit to spirit for whatever's for their highest good. And there's frequencies, there's colors, there's energy that is very healing. And we just don't really know about this. We're not taught, people aren't talking about this, but there's lots written and studied about it. If anyone's curious, there really is. And there's energies that can provide specific function as well, like certain colors and in the color range can provide certain healing. Like, for example, the color like cobalt blue or glacier blue, it's been proven through research, like clinical research in the intuition medicine, the Academy of Intuition Medicine, where I was trained, that it provides this anesthetizing, like soothing experience for the person that's receiving it. And I've used this on myself many times. If I have like a headache or some kind of ache, I just open my hand chakras. I direct a current of that frequency, cobalt blue, glacier blue, and I direct it to that place. And it's just with my intention. There's no other secret. It's really just with being grounded in your intention that you can create healing. Now, that's just a couple of examples. I don't know if you want me to answer anything else.
Well, I know a skeptic might say, "Oh, well, that's just a placebo effect, or you're just imagining it," not realizing how powerful your brain has to be to take something as an imagination or an intention or even a sugar pill and use it to heal you. I am amazed by the placebo effect. I don't consider that a negative thing. I think if my brain can take something that's a suggestion or a meditation or me just thinking about something and manifesting that, I think that's an amazing ability that my brain has, that all of our brain has. And I know that that's where skeptics can be like, well, this isn't really science. And we're not suggesting that you shouldn't talk to a medical doctor and handle your medical issues medically through traditional allopathic ways. But the whole point of this discussion is to be open to the possibility that there's more than one way to heal something, right? Like we can come at it from the Reiki way, from the tapping way, from the acupuncture way, from surgery way. All together can create healing, and there's different pathways, and not just one way is the correct way, correct?
Exactly. And that's what I tried to provide for my mother, was like a system, because she was getting chemotherapy. So I wanted to help her with the effects of that drug. I wanted her to go to I took her to a nutritionist. I took her to a naturopath. I wanted that full support. And that really is a dream of mine, is to have more integrated health centers where there's other healing modalities and they're working as a team for the highest healing of the patient. And that way you get the benefit of all of it.
Well, we have a cancer center here, and it amazes me how they use integrative medicine into their traditional protocol. They do have acupuncture, they do have aromatherapy that they're incorporating, massage, all these other modalities are incorporated, and that's what makes them one of the most successful centers when it comes to cancer. But a lot of people are not open to trying different things. And of course, there are a lot of people that are misleading with their health claims, and there are a lot of quacks out there giving this a bad name. But there's a lot of research, like acupuncture used to be looked down on and people didn't understand it. And now people are doing surgery with just needles, with just acupuncture as the anesthesia. So people might not understand how Qigong works, how acupuncture works, but there's enough research now to say that it does work. Have you noticed that as well?
Yes. And I know that there's some insurance companies that now will cover acupuncture, and that was never happened. That didn't happen before. So yeah, there's much more normality, I guess, with some of these. Energy medicine, I feel like still has some ways to go for people to consider it. But I think there's some fear. I think some of it is fear and not really realizing how powerful we are, and putting that responsibility on other people to please fix me, because guess what? If we all knew that we could heal ourselves, that's a big responsibility, right? That then we'd need to do if we want to be healed.
But also it's a lot of work, and a lot of people we've been trained to go for the quickest
fix
route. Give me the quick fix, give me the pill, give me the surgery. Don't ask me to change my diet. Don't ask me to change my thoughts, my lifestyle. Just give me the pill and make me better. But the fact is, my goal has always been, with every patient I work with, is to empower them so that they no longer even need me, that they can really work on helping themselves. and feel empowered to do so. And my goal is to educate everyone with all these different modalities, because I've been a guinea pig in my own life. I've tried all these different things. I've tried them. And if I see results, if I'm really passionate about it, I make sure to share it with as many people. And energy medicine is my latest passion. So, but I've been a fan of acupuncture for years. I just never connected them as being connected with energy medicine. But you were talking about colors being healing. We know, like when we are painting our house, we know we want our bedroom a certain color, we want our kitchen a certain color, without really making a connection. Like, why? What does a color have to do with my mood? But there's been research to say certain colors will increase fighting in a house.
Yes. Red sometimes in the bedroom could, it could spice things up, but it can also increase emotions. So if you're feeling angry, it can make it, intensified. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the fact that even like a bowl can react to a red, whatever those things are, when
I don't
it
even
makes
know.
them so angry that they go in charge, right?
Right. No, color, we discount so much because, there isn't a lot of understanding too. So sometimes that plays into it. Is like what we don't understand. We're just like, I don't know about that. But yeah, color, I use a lot of color in my work. And I find like certain days I need certain colors, and certain, emotions need certain colors. So it's, creating a dictionary for yourself of like, hey, when I have pink energy around me, I feel really good. Like it brings out joy. Well, great. Incorporate more pink in your life. Wear pink, put pink around your desk or in your bedroom. So yeah, I love using color.
When it comes to food, I mean, I know we're supposed to eat from the rainbow, there's color involved there, but food also has energy. Have you found the connection between energy medicine, and then do you recommend certain foods for creating energy or calming energy? Do you ever deal with that?
I don't personally go into that. However, you can use your body's truth teller to tell you this supplement is aligned with you. This food is maybe not aligned with you. Much like people do in kinesiology with muscle testing, you can use your psychometry. So again, your hand chakras, where you can detect energy and sense the vibration. That was something that, I learned was, you're going down as my mentor shared in the academy, if you're ever in the supplement aisle and you need to get a vitamin C, but there's like 100 vitamin C's and you don't know which one would be the right one for you, you can use your hands to detect like a frequency, a vibration. And, people might think you're weird in the store, but who cares? You could tell them to try it out too. But if you feel like maybe a strong pulse or sensation, take that bottle, put it there, then put another bottle, and then, kind of see which one feels more aligned for you. And you can do the same with foods. It's so personal with foods. So for example, I know I feel better when I don't eat meat or poultry or pork. I feel better with fish and a vegetarian diet. But everyone's different. Some people like feel energized if they eat red meat. Me, I feel weighted down and heavy, and my body tries to process it, and it just sits there. So it really is personal. Like I feel like your own energy signature might have a different need than other people.
I feel like the more we practice and be in touch with our own body, the more in tune we can be when we put a bottle next to our hand and see if that energy is there. Like even when I'm teaching my patients about Qigong and just moving your hand back and forth and just slowly doing that until you feel that cushion of energy between your hands. That takes a while. You're not going to get it initially because we're always so distracted.
Yes.
And like you were saying, people think we're weird by doing that in a grocery store. People might think we're weird having this conversation. Right?
Yes. And I'm okay being a weirdo. I don't care.
Right. I mean, some of the things that I was talking about even 20 years ago, now they're becoming more mainstream. Like people were wondering what the heck I was doing getting acupuncture. They didn't understand it. They didn't, because I was diagnosed with endometriosis when I was 26 and I didn't have insurance. So for a year, I kind of had to do what I needed to do because I couldn't afford surgery. I was a student. I didn't have insurance and there's no way I could have afforded surgery. So I went to the store and I bought a bunch of herbs and I started drinking those teas. I started doing acupuncture. I started doing meditation, cleaned out my lifestyle, cleaned out my diet. And I was able to keep that cyst from bursting and damaging my body. So I became a believer. Like I said, I've been my own guinea pig and I've been trying these different things. And then since then, I've recommended acupuncture to family members. One of my uncles actually got acupuncture, and he's like, people were accusing me of having an affair afterwards because I felt so good. So he felt so young and happy and vibrant. Everybody's like, well, what are you doing? What's up with that?
Suspicious. Yeah.
Right. Just from having acupuncture because it really did make him feel good. So that's why I've been open to trying different things. And that's all I'm asking with this interview for my audience is be open to different modalities, be open to different ways of treating yourself, and know that there's so many other options available than just what we're hearing, right?
Yeah. And, if you think about it, a lot of ancient healing modalities, they've been around for thousands of years. That's a lot of research. Our Western medicine has not been around that long. So I think we can learn a few things from something that's been used for thousands of years. Not to discount Western medicine. I received Western medicine. However, I do see the difference is always to, cover the symptoms, solve the problems, but not get to the root cause, not get to why is this happening? And for me, that's very important. Like, I don't, I want something gone for good. I don't want to just take something to mask the effects of it. And that's what I would want for everyone, get to the root cause of why this is happening. And a lot of times it's these imbalances. Especially in the mental health community, there's a lot of trauma that is not healed. Yeah. And I love teaching my clients how they can heal their trauma and be free from that, because it does create a burden and it creates a lot of ailments if you're carrying that around.
Yeah, I mean, Western medicine is limited in that it's not preventive. Mm-hmm. When you have a broken leg, you can go get that leg fixed. When you have to have surgery, you can go and they're great at doing all of that. But what we're not taught is how to prevent a lot of this stuff from happening, how to be, like you said, focus on the root cause of it. Because at the end of the day, when we do that, we save ourselves so much money in medical bills because we're not allowed. It's like maintenance for your car. If you can take care of the oil and the gas and put air in your tires and make sure you wash your car regularly and just take care of it, you're not going to have major repairs later on down the road, right? So I look at energy medicine, alternative medicine, alternative even therapies as maintenance, preventive, where if I need to go to a medical doctor, then that's going to a mechanic to fix my car because I didn't take care of it and I got, some issues going on.
Yeah, I think they refer to it as it's good for emergencies. Like you said, a broken arm, it's not good for preventative, right? And like you were saying with the car analogy and everything, I really, my wish and dream too is that someday, instead of like us having this health insurance, which just pays for us to go and get a pill or whatever, that it would cover like supplements and learning about nutrition and eating well and like all the things that are preventative that would, hopefully stop the diabetes and, all the other things that can be cured, really.
Or at least reward us for doing those things, right? So that we can be encouraged to be preventive and not tax the healthcare system, because it is going to get overwhelmed moving forward. I mean, there's a lot just with the pandemic alone, it's getting stressed. Imagine with all the other ailments that are going to come our way as well,
Yeah.
because we're not exercising right now. We're more isolated. Anxiety's on the rise. So
saying our immune system is part of our energy. And we can be strengthening our immune systems by using energy medicine practices as well. And I really am a firm believer in, doing what I can for myself, to strengthen my immune system, to prevent disease and illness as much as I can. Do I still get sick? Sure, it happens, and I, do what I can though. But I will say that over the years of doing my own energy medicine practice, I don't get sick as nearly, like maybe once a year at the most. And that says a lot to me.
But we should be getting sick once a year so that our immune system knows what it's doing, right? Otherwise, it's just going to get lazy and sit back and say,
Yeah, right.
And not know how to defend the system.
Exactly. And, and then you become tolerant too to new strains and everything. So you build those disease fighting bacteria. And, we could talk a lot about the gut and the intelligence of the gut, but there's a lot going on in the human body that is fascinating.
Definitely. So knowing what you know now about energy medicine and self-care and everything that we just talked about, what advice would you have for your younger self about all of this?
So my younger self was definitely disconnected, not present, trying to find herself. So I would definitely say, girl, get grounded, like be in the present, be in your body, stop searching for who you are or what your path is, because all the wisdom is within. And that would be my first advice there. And then also to trust my intuition, trust my wisdom, my body's wisdom, really listen to that. And that takes getting grounded and getting centered and being in the present. So that would be the big thing. I think if I learned all that in my younger days, I would have had a different, experience in life. Of course, I had what I had and it's all good, but that would be my advice to my younger self for sure.
I mean, that's really good advice. I mean, we all have learned to be more grounded and more centered as we've grown up. So of course we would have done differently if we knew better, right?
Yeah. And I think it would have helped a lot with that anxiety and, feeling like I'm not good enough, all the things that, especially as teenagers, right, we go through. It just would have had me have a stronger sense of self. I know a lot in psychology to talk about like the self instead of saying like your spirit or whatever, right? And it's like finding ourself.
Right. So where can people find you and connect with you?
I am on various social media. My website, though, is divineflowhealing.com. And on Facebook, it's divineflowenergyhealing.com. Instagram, Divine Flow Healing. So those are the three main areas you can find me. I do offer a lot of great videos. That's like free content. I have a YouTube channel as well. You can search for me on there under Divine Flow Energy Healing. And I like to give people like small, easy practices that they can do or just answer questions or debunk some myths. So check out, my content and watch some of the videos. They're really short, bite-sized.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to put on all your information in the show notes so people can follow you and connect with you if they want to reach out. So thank you so much for having this conversation with me and being here today.
Thank you so much. It was such an honor and I loved talking with you. So that was makes it more enjoyable too when you like talking to the person you're being interviewed. So
well, I really appreciate it.
We share a lot of similar things, the whole barefoot thing, not a lot of people share that. So we're similar.
Yeah, it's amazing. My daughter as a kid would love to walk barefoot and we would tell her put shoes on. And now it's like, take your shoes off. And she's like, I don't want to take my shoes off now. And now that we want her to take her shoes off.
That's funny. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Wasn't that interesting? I can't wait to use energy medicine more in my life. So now I'd love to hear from you. So I'm curious, out of everything we talked about today, what was your takeaway from today's interview? What are some key lessons that you will take away with you and apply to your life? Share your comments below or go to transforminganxiety.com/podcast and leave me a comment there. Until next time, keep prioritizing your mental health as you create the life you love. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe or follow so you don't miss what's next. Bye for now.